Henry Ford once said, whether you think you can or think you can't, you are right. And it turns out he was right, because there have been many studies over the years that show that changing our mindset can change our ability. I'm going to share 3 of those studies now. First one, teachers in schools. Some teachers were told that a group of students were actually intellectual bloomers, that they had higher IQ than others in the room. In fact, all the groups of students had the same average IQ, but just the fact that the teachers thought that certain groups were intellectual bloomers caused those students to actually increase their IQ by the end of the year when they measured again. So there's something about teachers thinking that those students were smarter that maybe changed their treatment of those students and actually increased their IQ. So think about that and how you are thinking about your team or the people that you work with. How might your thoughts be adjusting your treatment of them and their ability? Second study I want to share is about students being taught study skills. So there was 2 groups of students. They were both taught study skills, the same study skills. But the second group of students was also taught that the brain is a muscle, and the more they use it, the smarter they could become. And it turns out that second group of students actually improved their studying and ultimately their grades because they thought they could, right? So something about changing our own belief in what we can do and our own ability changed those students' ability to learn and ultimately get great scores on their tests. The third study I wanted to share is about optimism. And so this was a 30-year study where they studied nurses, and they rated their optimism levels as well as various diseases and causes of death over the years. They found that the most optimistic women had a 30% lower risk of dying from diseases including cancer, heart disease, stroke, and infection. So is it possible that our level of optimism can actually improve our health? That study says yes. So let's talk about what the difference is between fixed mindset and growth mindset. When we have a fixed mindset, we say, I'm either good at something or I'm not. When we have a growth mindset, we say, I can learn anything I want. When we have a fixed mindset, we stick to what we know. But when we are in growth mindset, we like to try new things. When we have a fixed mindset, we think our potential is predetermined. But in a growth mindset, we know that our effort and our attitude can actually determine our potential. In a fixed mindset, we see feedback and criticism as personal attacks. But when we have a growth mindset, feedback is seen as constructive and helping us learn. And this is a really interesting one. Fixed mindset feedback actually can change the mindset of the people that we're giving the feedback to. So let me explain. Feedback on ability, saying you're good at this, or you're a superstar in this certain aspect of your job, actually creates a fixed mindset that causes people to be less open to constructive feedback in the future. It causes people to be less likely and willing to try new things. So we want to give growth mindset feedback, which is about feedback on actions and effort. This is about, I appreciate how you went about this. Tell me about how you thought about this result that you got. Let's talk about how great that went because you worked so hard at this. So we want to give feedback on effort and actions, not on ability. So think about how this fixed to growth mindset may affect you as a leader and your team that reports to you. How can you adjust your mindset so that people's ability can actually grow?